The night he finally dared to ask, the silence inside the billionaire's glass office felt heavier than any mop bucket he had ever pushed. For years he had cleaned floors that reflected power and wealth, but nothing prepared him for the moment his eyes locked onto the framed photograph on the wall, a smiling woman he knew by heart, a face he had buried, a love he thought the world had forgotten. His breath stopped, his hands trembled, and in that instant a single question shattered the quiet and changed everything he believed about his life. Before this story unfolds any further, pause for just a moment. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the idea that even the smallest lives can carry the biggest truths, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. He had never planned to be a janitor forever. Life had simply bent him that way, quietly and without mercy. After his wife passed away, the world didn't collapse loudly. It eroded slowly, day by day. Hospital bills drained every saving they had. Grief hollowed him out. And raising his young daughter alone meant every dream had to be folded away neatly, like clothes stored for a season that might never come. The job at the corporate tower wasn't glamorous, but it paid on time and it kept food on the table. That was enough. Or at least, that was what he told himself every morning as he put on the blue uniform and orange gloves. The building belonged to one of the most powerful billionaires in the country, a man whose name appeared in headlines beside words like innovation, success, and influence. The janitor rarely thought about him. Wealth like that existed in another universe. His world was late, night shifts, empty hallways, and the quiet comfort of routine. Yet every evening, as he cleaned the executive floor, his eyes were drawn to the same office, the same wall, the same photograph. At first, he thought grief was playing tricks on him. Faces can resemble each other, memories can blur, but the longer he looked, the more certain he became. The curve of the smile, the gentle eyes, the familiar warmth. It was her. His wife, he tried to ignore it. He told himself it was coincidence, but grief has a way of demanding attention. Each night, the photo seemed to look back at him, stirring questions he had buried for years. Why would her picture hang in the office of a billionaire? How could two worlds so far apart share the same woman? His hands would shake as he mopped, his chest tightening with emotions he could barely name. Fear stopped him from asking, fear of humiliation, fear of being dismissed, fear of reopening wounds he barely survived. At home, his daughter noticed the change. He became quieter, distracted, staring into space while dinner burned on the stove. He watched her sleep and wondered how much of her mother's story he never knew. Love, he realized, doesn't always reveal everything at once. Sometimes it protects us by keeping secrets, but those secrets don't disappear. They wait. One evening, exhaustion gave way to resolve. The office door was open, lights still on. The billionaire was there, alone, reviewing documents. The janitor felt small standing in that room, surrounded by art and polished wood and power. His reflection in the glass showed a man worn by life, shoulders slumped, eyes tired. Still, something stronger than fear pushed him forward. He pointed at the photograph, his voice breaking as he asked the question that had haunted him for months. The reaction was not what he expected. There was no anger, no dismissal. Instead, the billionaire froze, color drained from his face. For a moment, the air itself seemed to stop moving. The silence stretched thick and unbearable. And then, slowly, everything changed. What followed was not an explanation filled with pride, but one heavy with regret. The woman in the photo was not just a memory to the janitor. She had once been the love of the billionaire's life too. Years ago, before money and fame, they had dreamed together, but ambition pulled him away. He chose growth, expansion, and power, believing love would wait. It didn't. She left, choosing a quieter life, a man who valued presence over promise. That man was the janitor. The billionaire had searched for her too late. By the time he found her again, she was gone, taken by illness before he could apologize, before he could explain. The photograph was not decoration, it was remorse. A daily reminder of the life he sacrificed for success. Hearing that she had been loved deeply, that she had built a family, softened something in him he thought money had buried forever. In that office, two men stood on opposite sides of wealth, united by the same law. The janitor felt anger rise, then fade. His wife had been happy. That truth mattered more than resentment. He realized then that love had chosen him, not by accident, but by courage. She had walked away from a future of riches to build a home filled with warmth, laughter, and purpose. And he had been part of that choice. From that night on, everything shifted. The billionaire saw the janitor differently, not as staff, but as the keeper of the life he never lived. Opportunities followed, not out of pity, but respect. The janitor was offered education, support, a chance to step into a future he never thought possible. More importantly, his daughter's path widened. Doors opened that had always been closed. But the greatest gift was not money or opportunity. It was peace. The photograph no longer haunted him. It comforted him. His wife's story was complete now, woven through sacrifice, love, and consequence. She had been extraordinary not because of who loved her, but because she chose love wisely. As this story nears its end, if it has touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes in redemption, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this live because of you. And before the final moment, leave a comment below. Tell us what this story made you feel or who it reminded you of. Your words matter more than you know. In the end, the janitor returned to his quiet life, but he was no longer invisible. He carried himself differently, with a dignity born not from wealth, but from truth. Love had shaped him, loss had strengthened him, and kindness, unexpected, undeserved, had changed everything. Sometimes the most unbelievable moments don't come from miracles, but from the courage to ask a single, painful question and the grace to accept the answer.